Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, helping you to live in tune with the natural cycles of the moon. This is your astrology horoscope for the full moon in Sagittarius, which occurs on Tuesday, June 14th, 2022 at 7 a.m. Eastern Time or 4 a.m. Pacific Time. Now, what I think is going on at this full moon in Sagittarius is that we are stepping into more new and better situations that are more in alignment with ourselves and with a higher purpose, which are very positive and perhaps happening in sudden and unexpected ways. But even though they are occurring, we don't know how to move them forward to make them even better, which is not because we really don't know, but basically because we're afraid, because these situations feel so much easier and lighter than we've experienced before, which is making us confused and emotional that we're going to have to come to terms with and learn how to deal with. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. If you want to hear more about that, please do stay tuned because I'm going to hop into it right now. Before I get into it though, I do like to place it on the chart first so that you can see what it is that I'm referring to here and follow along with me. So let me do that now. This video is for the full moon in Sagittarius. As a result, I've adjusted the chart accordingly. Here's the moon in this chart, and it is in the sign of Sagittarius here, exactly opposite the sun over here in the sign of Gemini. And when the moon opposes the sun, that is what is considered a full moon. What are full moons all about now? Well, full moons are all about stepping into something that we have been working towards for quite some time and bringing something right to fullness, since that's when the moon is the fullest in the sky. Not only that, but it also does tend to be about illumination, bringing things to light, seeing things that we didn't see before, or getting clarity as well, because that is also when the moon is the brightest in the sky, okay? So that's what's going on. We're stepping into something we've been working towards for a while and getting understanding, clarity, or illumination about something we didn't see before. In what way? Well, now to give you more details, I like to take a closer look at the sign that the moon is in, because whatever sign the moon is in is again what more of the focus and attention is coming towards. So the moon is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is about a few things. I do consider, I should note, Sagittarius to be about the divine, if you will, the divine, spirit, God, the higher realms, especially because it is a sign that does correlate to religion here in our belief systems. So one thing that this means to me is that at this full moon in Sagittarius, we are more fully stepping into and understanding what the divine's will is, I think, for our lives and for our next steps. Not only that, but I also need to note too that I do believe that Sagittarius, again, because it correlates to the divine and to religion, if you will, is also about wisdom and understanding our lives, making sense of them better and what's going on. So not only at this full moon are we stepping into and getting more understanding about the divine's will for our lives, but I think that's also bringing wisdom and understanding about ourselves and where we are and what's going on. Okay, not only that, but Sagittarius to me is also a sign of new things manifesting, new experiences here in our lives. So not only at this full moon in Sagittarius are we stepping into more of a connection, I think, with the divine and the divine's will for our life, and more understanding now about what that is and about ourselves as a result. But the more we align with the divine and get understanding, I think it's bringing more new situations here to manifest in our lives. And I should note, I mean, new situations in the physical at this time that do include relationships and money. Okay, not only that, but I do consider Sagittarius to be a sign of better things, not just new things, but better things here that are more abundant and more helpful for us, especially because Sagittarius does correlate to the planet of Jupiter, which in my opinion is about gifts and good luck. So not only at this full moon in Sagittarius are we stepping into more of an alignment, if you will, with the divine and the divine's will for our life, and therefore wisdom and understanding about the divine and about ourselves and about our situations here that is helping us to rearrange our lives to bring new situations with relationships and money into the picture that are more in accordance with spirit here. But these new situations are supposed to be better for us, more abundant, right? If they're in alignment with spirit, they're supposed to be better and more abundant here for us as we move forward. Not only that, but Sagittarius is a fire sign. Fire signs to me are passionate. They're excitable. I do also consider fire signs to be a tad bit more on the optimistic, hopeful side as well. So not only at this full moon in Sagittarius are we getting more wisdom about the divine, what the divine wants from us, and therefore wisdom about ourselves and our situation and what's going on, that's helping us to manifest new experiences with relationships and money. They're in alignment with the divine and therefore better for us and more abundant, but that I think is also bringing a lot of passion, a lot of excitement here to ourselves, to our lives, to the way that we approach lives, bringing some fire back, if you will, here as we move forward. Okay. And I think that's all that's coming to me for the time being about the main themes of this full moon in Sagittarius. Before I move forward, though, to explain more specifically how that theme in particular is going to play out as we move forward over the course of the next few days and weeks or so, I do want to go backwards in time just for a minute before I go forwards here in order to give you more of the context of this full moon and how we got here. And to go back in time to give you the context, I'm just going to go back to the last solar eclipse, which happened, like 4 to 6 weeks ago now, at the new moon here in Taurus, the new moon solar eclipse in Taurus, which I believe was like the last day of April, the first day of May. Let's just consider it May, May of this year, 2022. Okay, what was that about? Well, new moons are about new things. Solar eclipses are pretty big deals here. So I believe that this was us in May of 2022 really stepping into a new, different, and better experience of life that we have been trying to get to for quite some time. And a new and different and better experience of life, which did include relationships and money here, that is supposed to be more stable here and more secure, and going to give us a really good foundation with the Taurus influence to last the test of time. Not only that, but I also believe that in May 2022, this new and better chapter in life that is supposed to be good for us, I think it started to manifest in a more tangible way that we could see, touch, and feel after really trying to get here for a long time prior to this point. Okay, that was very, very positive. Okay, but even though that was very good, a new and better chapter in life actually really manifesting at that new moon solar eclipse in Taurus, I think we really struggled to figure out like how to move this new and better chapter in life forward to continue on that path, especially at that the next moon, which was a full moon lunar eclipse here in Scorpio that same month, May of 2022, which was last month. I think we really struggled to move these new and better experiences forward here, which was very frustrating and very unpleasant. And because that was very frustrating and unpleasant at that full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, I think God, Spirit, the divine, whatever word you want to use, the universe started talking to us and telling us that the reason why we were struggling to move forward in this new and better chapter in life is because something still wasn't right with it, where it needed to be, and because we still didn't have the correct approach to going about it. And that what wasn't right about this new and better chapter in life that had existed is that we were either going too fast and pushing too hard here, or doing things too crazy, and that we needed to go slower in a more stable way that was more in alignment with our needs and with our values, and that would build us up more instead of tear us down. And I think that that was actually a lot more difficult than it sounds to understand and to get through our minds, and took us some time. But even though it was difficult to understand and get through our minds at the new moon in Gemini, which was 2 weeks ago, right about here in June of this year, 2022, I think we finally started to get it. We finally started to get what Spirit was saying, which is that we needed to go about this new and better chapter in life in a new and better way, which was slower, stable, and more in alignment with our value systems, and change our behaviors. And that was positive. But even though we started to finally come around and realize what Spirit was saying at that new moon 2 weeks ago, I think we also started to realize at the same time that our physical lived experience with relationships and money wasn't fully in alignment with what Spirit was telling us. It wasn't fully in alignment with this slower way of life that's more in tune with our value systems here, and that is more stable and that is more secure. And I think that that really frustrated us quite a bit. And because that really frustrated us over the course of the past 2 weeks since that new moon in Gemini, I believe that we have been making changes and fixes within the new and better experience of life that arrived in May. And we've been making changes and fixes in particular with relationships and money to realign those things even more towards Spirit and towards the divine and towards what our intuition was telling us, to make them even more in alignment with our values and more stable and secure here. And because over the course of the past 2 weeks, we've been doing that. We now get to this full moon in Sagittarius, of which this video is for, also here in June 2022. And we finally feel like new and better situations are manifesting with the said relationships and with the money that were out of alignment a few weeks ago to be more and more and more in service of the divine, of divine's messages, of a higher power, of our highest truth here, which is bringing, I think, a lot of wisdom and understanding about ourselves and our situations now, and helping us to feel better, more excited, and more optimistic now that things are coming together here in this higher way that we've really been trying to get to, I think, for quite some time, way before May of 2022, if you've been watching my videos for a while. Okay, and that's it. Because that's the last thing, or the only thing I'm going to mention now about the context, I'm just going to repeat that one more time without the astrological jargon so that you can get a better sense of what I think is going on here before we move forward. So let me do that now. What I think the big context is, or big picture of this full moon in Sagittarius here, is that we are finally we are finally stepping into more alignment here with the spirit and with the divine, after fixing a lot of things in our life that were not in alignment with the divine here, especially now that we're in a new and better experience. And us more fully fixing and aligning more things in our life with the divine is making us, giving us more wisdom and understanding about our experience, bringing more new and better things into existence here, and making us more happy and more optimistic here for what is to come. Okay. Maybe there's one other note that I want to mention as well before we move forward. This full moon in Sagittarius is not an eclipse, okay? It is just a full moon, but I should note that there is something just about it to me intuitively that feels very much so like an eclipse. It feels like an eclipse to me, I should note, or the reasons why I justify that. Well, it feels like an eclipse to me because I do believe that very big fated events are occurring at this time, again, because the divine is like so heavily involved. It feels like an eclipse to me because I think big fated events to really course correct and realign our lives to our highest purpose are coming together here. Not only does it feel like an eclipse to me because of that, but the other reasons why I might think that this is an eclipse as well is because the last eclipse, which we actually had a month prior, which was the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, Mercury was retrograde during that eclipse. And it's not always the best time to do things while Mercury is retrograde, because they just don't seem to work out. Well, now a few weeks later, Mercury is direct, that we get this full moon. So that's another reason why I kind of think that this is kind of eclipse-like. Big events going on now that we're a month after the last eclipse with Mercury direct. Another reason why it feels rather eclipse-like too is because Sagittarius is where we had a bunch of eclipse all last year, starting in December of 2020, which was all about new and better experiences in life going on here. And this to me feels very connected to that storyline that I've been talking about for a while here as well. So I think that that's maybe one more extra point that I want to add in here. This is not an eclipse, okay, in terms of, astronomical terms, I suppose. But it does feel like one to me. Big fated events going on at this time that I should note feel like they are connected to December of 2020 or whatever was going on around the months surrounding that time here, for you to more fully complete things, step into a new and better situation now with more of understanding of what's going on and what's needed next in order to move forward. Okay, so I want to note that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward in time. And well, I'm not going to move forward in time. That's my other videos I do on my website. What I'm going to do is I'm now going to move more into the specific aspects that the full moon itself is making so that you can get more detailed information about this theme and how it's playing out. So I'm going to do that. The first alignment that I think I want to mention, let me place the full moon. Here's the full moon on the chart. The first alignment that I think I want to start with is actually going to be the sense that this full moon in Sagittarius is making a quincunx over here to Uranus, Venus, and the North Node, which are all in a conjunction here in Taurus. What is this all about? Well, I'm going to start with the Uranus-Venus first. Uranus is about the sudden and the unexpected here that's going on. This is sudden and unexpected insights. Uranus to me can have a lot to do with the mind being correlated to Aquarius. Sudden and unexpected insights and revelations in the mind. But with it being in Taurus, which is an earth sign, I think it's also sudden and unexpected events materializing in the physical plane, which I do believe have to do Venus with relationships with money and also with our own sense of self. So and I should note as well that I do think that they're meant to be positive because Venus is in Taurus, its home sign where it really likes to be. And because I consider the North Node as positive about our destiny, what we're meant to accomplish in life at this time. And again, the full moon's in Sagittarius, which is supposed to be about aligning with the divine and gifts and good luck and optimism. So what does that mean to me to continue bringing it together? It means to me that at this full moon in Sagittarius, we are stepping into new events and situations with relationships and money that I really do think are connected to the end of December of 2020 here, which are supposed to now finally be more in alignment with the divine to set us up here on a better path that's more aligned. And it's occurring, these new and better things suddenly and unexpectedly. It's occurring suddenly and unexpectedly with relationships and money. As a result of either us initiating things ourselves with other people and with our lives, or other people initiating things unexpectedly with us, in order to fix something that's not entirely where it's meant to be. Okay. Could it be a little startling? Sure. The nature of unexpected events, especially with Uranus here and Uranus not liking to be in Taurus and this being a quincunx, could it be a bit startling? Sure. The nature of unexpected events is that they come out of nowhere and you didn't see them coming, and you weren't planning for them. So yeah, it could be a little bit startling here, but I do think that they are either good events or if not good events, because it's just not realistic that all of you are going to be having great things happening right now. They're meant in our highest good. They're meant in our highest good here because that's a lot of what Sagittarius and I think Taurus like to do. Okay. So that's what I want to say there. Okay. What else? Not only that, but I should also note too, the nature of Taurus here, which is where all these planets are. Taurus is about stability. It's about security. It's the thing that Spirit has really been telling us to cultivate more of since that lunar eclipse in Scorpio 4 weeks ago. It's also about our value systems and what's more aligned with our needs and our values in order to kind of build us up. So not only to me is this alignment indicating sudden and unexpected experiences happening in our mind, but also in our physical environment with relationships and money that either we or someone else is initiating with us to realign our lives more towards a higher purpose that's supposed to ideally be better for all of us, but that the way that Spirit is aligning these situations is actually so that they're slower, they don't require as much effort, they're more stable, and so that they are truly in alignment with like our true self and our values here as we move forward. Okay. Anything else that I want to note? Okay, I think that's all I want to say there. That then leads me now to the next alignment I want to mention happening at the same time. Mars making a conjunction to Chiron, which is a little bit over here. It's kind of far, but a little bit in a trine to the full moon in Sagittarius. What is this about? Now, this is, I should note, a little bit of a challenging alignment here because Chiron's involved, and Chiron is really not the most pleasant almost any way you cut it because it does have a lot to do with fears and insecurities, and it's in Aries and connecting with Mars, which is the natural ruler of Aries, which means they're correlated. And Mars in Aries is really all about action and doing things and moving things forward, especially in like a very quick, fast-paced kind of way, with it being a fire sign. So what does that mean to me? I guess to continue bringing it together so far, it means to me that at this full moon in Sagittarius, new and ideally better, I'll clarify that later in this video, but new and ideally better situations are manifesting at this time to get us more on a new path in life that's aligned with Spirit and our higher purpose, which are manifesting suddenly and unexpectedly with relationships and money that are good, but a bit startling here, coming more together, which is nice. But even though really good, new and better situations are coming together here in our lives, we're a little bit afraid to move forward on these new and better experiences that are now here and to fully maximize them or progress with them in some way, shape, or form that could be making us feel insecure here and vulnerable. That's going on. Okay. That's what this is about. Now, Do we not know how to move them forward? If I can be honest with you, I think we do know. I think the majority of you, if you're having these new and better things manifest, do know 100% how to move them forward, because Mars is in Aries, and that's where Mars loves to be. Mars loves to be in the sign of Aries and therefore functions very well there. And because the full moon is in Sagittarius, which is about wisdom and is about understanding. And I need to note too, Mercury just recently entered Gemini, its home sign, now direct, about clarity. So do I think the issue, to be clear here, do I think the issue is that we don't know how to move these new and better things forward that are now manifesting? I do not. I think we do 100% know what to do next, but I think that we're afraid. I think that we're just afraid to take these actions that we now know that it is that we need to make with the Chiron influence. That is the problem here, which may make us doubt that we know anything at all. Why are we afraid, in my opinion, to move these things forward and to trust our inner knowing and our clarity that it is that we're getting? I think that we're afraid because these situations that are now manifesting in our lives are so new. And when you're new at something, even if you know what you're doing, you tend to doubt it, right? I know exactly what I'm doing, but I've never done it before, so maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. I think that's a part of it. Here, I think another reason why we're afraid too is because I think these situations that are manifesting are better, or supposed to be better, and are therefore easier, right? Better things mean easier. And I also think we're not used to doing Mars things that are easy and things in an easier way, because I feel like we've been escaping an old hard chapter of life for a very, very long time. So I think that's also another part of the issue. We know what to do, but we're afraid to do anything with these new and better experiences. Not because we don't know, but because it's just new and different. And maybe we don't know, and because also here, because they're easier, and we're not used to doing things with ease, okay, which is a challenge here. May not sound like one, but it is, especially too because of the next, and I believe the last one I'm really going to mention here in this video. In the next alignment is going to be here, the sun and this full moon, right? They're connected here, making a square to Neptune in Pisces. Okay, now this is a bit of a challenge because a square is difficult. Almost any way you cut it, and because Neptune's involved, and while Neptune is not bad in and of itself, it is a planet that's very far away from Earth, which is where we live, and therefore a little bit difficult for us sometimes to understand here and to make sense of. So this can be a little bit of a challenge. What is the challenge? Well, Neptune is a lot about confusion. When it goes negatively, it can bring confusion. Not only that, it can bring even more sensitivities and vulnerabilities and fears. Being a very sensitive sign, being water, being the last sign of the zodiac. Not only that, it can also bring self-sabotage here, or going back on our word, going back on the new things we just worked out, or reverting back into old unhelpful patterns that are not good for us. So what does that mean to me now? I guess to bring it all together, it means to me that as of this full moon in Sagittarius, more new and better things are now manifesting in our lives to propel us forward in some new and better chapter in life that we've really been trying to get to, I think, for quite some time, at least December of 2020. Here, and they're occurring in perhaps sudden and unexpected and startling ways with relationships and money that either we're initiating or that someone else is initiating with us here. And it's beautiful that we're moving forward, but even though it's beautiful that these unexpected events are happening, I think we're afraid of doing anything with them and of moving them forward here, which is making us very, very frustrated. And I think we're afraid of doing anything with these new experiences, not because we don't know how, even though some of you might think you don't, but really because these situations are new and we're doubting, and because they're just easier and we're not used to things being easier, and because something very good is going on right now, suddenly and unexpectedly, and we're really hesitating, I think, to move these things forward because we're afraid. And even though we know what to do, we're devolving into confusion, right? Like, isn't that confusing? Good things are happening and we're afraid to do something good. We're afraid to do something because it's easy. Like, that's very confusing. So I think we're feeling confused. Not only are we feeling confused, but I think we're getting a little like emotional and sensitive about like why this is going on here and why this is happening. And not only that, but some of us could be devolving into doubt. Maybe I'm not in a good place because I don't know what I'm doing. And if I were in a good place, then I would be good. Could you lead some of you doubting where you are? Could also lead some of you reverting back, totally undoing these new, better situations that you just got into and backing out of these very good things. And it could also lead to self-sabotaging behaviors. You picking fights, could be when there's really no need. Here, you staying stuck and when there's no need to, or you kind of spiraling downwards when something really great is going on here, okay? And because that's what's going on, I think at this full moon, I now like to give you some advice. The advice that I want to give you is probably going to be a bit of Neptune and Pisces. Maybe it's even like the fact that Venus is going to square Saturn over the course of the next week as well. It's not too far. It's like 6 degrees from now. I think the advice that I want to give you is to choose to not devolve backwards and to back out of these new situations, and to choose not to go back into self-sabotaging habits, because that's the nature of Saturn, is conscious choice about your behaviors and your emotions and what you're doing. Not only do I think is the advice to like consciously choose like not to fall backwards here, but to also consciously choose with the Neptune and even the Venus and Taurus to just be at ease with where you are and to relax and to allow yourself to relax, or to focus on hobbies and things that will allow you to calm your nerves and to be at ease, so that you can go more with the flow with what's next, right? Because if new and better things are manifesting now in our lives, which I believe they are, they don't require a heavy hand. They don't require a lot of action. They simply require you to be present and to show up and to follow your heart and whatever that says naturally in the moment. Okay, so that's the advice that I'm going to give you there. And I believe that that's it. That's all I'm going to say, because that's all I'm going to mention. Now I'm just going to repeat all of those things one more time without the astrological jargon, so you can get a better sense of what I think is going on here. So let me do that now. What I think is going on at this full moon in Sagittarius is that we are finally stepping into new and ideally better situations with relationships, money, and our own sense of self that are more in aligned with our higher purpose and more helpful, to get us to move forward, which is bringing a lot of wisdom and understanding and optimism and excitement about our lives. And these new and better experiences are manifesting, I think, in sudden and unexpected ways that either we are initiating or that someone else is initiating with us here, which I like. Okay, but even though new and better situations are manifesting unexpectedly in good ways, I think that we're just a little bit afraid, like a deer in the headlights after these things, to figure out, or to move them forward and to do things next with them. And I think we're afraid to move forward with these new and better experiences, not because we don't know how. I actually think we do know how to move them forward. But we're afraid, not because we don't know how, but because the situations are just so new and different, causing us to doubt our innate knowledge about the situation, and because they're just easier now, when I don't think that life has been that easy for us in a very, very long time, which is hard, and because something good is manifesting, and I think we really do, deep in our heart of hearts, know what to do, but we're afraid to do it. Here, I think we're confused about ourselves and like by ourselves and like why we're being this way. And I think we're also starting to doubt where we are and what we thought we had gotten to, and revert backwards into old habits, old behaviors, and maybe sabotage some of these new and good situations that we've gone into. And because a lot of good things are going on, but I think we're kind of having difficulty adjusting and psyching ourselves out. The advice that I want to give you for this full moon in Sagittarius is to consciously choose and be aware of your self-sabotaging habits so that they don't get the best of you. And not only to be aware of these self-sabotaging habits and to choose not to devolve backwards to let them get the best of you, but to consciously choose to cultivate a sense of ease and peace and rest and relaxation here, and surrender. I should note, surrender to God, to the divine, to the higher power here, because I think that that's going to be the best way to maneuver these things forward, because they really don't need a heavy hand. And I think they're going to happen more naturally from here on out. Okay. And that's it. Anything else that I want to say? You know, I typically like to add some notes now about this energy. Okay, sure. I want to say this. I do believe that this is meant to be positive, right? Because this to me feels like the culmination, in my opinion, now of the series of eclipses that happened in December of 2020, which is like 2 years ago now. I do believe that this is meant to be positive, you know, the culmination of lessons well learned here in order for us to bring more new and better things together here in the ways that it is that we need. It could be negative for some of you. I'll address that in a minute, but I want to continue on the path of this being positive. Okay, I think that this, what's going on at this full moon in Sagittarius is meant to be good. A lot of you finally stepping into new relationships, different relationships, romantic or otherwise, professional, that are better for you, are new and better jobs, money situations here, or retooling current relationships and job situations if they've made the cut over the course of the past year or two to be even better for you, which is very, very nice. Because I think that this new moon in Sagittarius is bringing good, is meant to bring good situations in the physical with relationships and money. That is the culmination of all our hard work over the course of the past 2 years, like the icing on the cake. I do not think that the issue at this full moon is anything to do with our new circumstances. I think the new circumstances are just fine here. A matter of fact, I don't even think that the issue with our current circumstance has anything to do with our inner knowledge. A matter of fact, I think that we've learned, again, right, because Sagittarius is about new things and knowledge. I think we also know how to move these things forward, because not only since December of 2020 have we been trying to get new things in our life, but we've been learning a lot about the new behaviors and habits that it requires. So maybe I need to say that good things are manifesting, supposed to. I'll talk about if it's not for you in a minute, with relationships and money. And because good things are manifesting, there's no issues with the good things that are manifesting. And there's also no issues with our knowledge of how to move them forward, because I really do believe we've been working for that for a long time. The issue is simply with our fear. In my opinion, the issue at this full moon is simply our fear of having a good thing, of being with a good thing here, of enjoying a good thing, and of letting life love us and God love us and surprise us and feel like it's on our side once again. I think that is the main issue here. And I think that is, again, the main issue because these experiences are better and we're not used to good things happening after what we've been through over the course of the past few years. And because they're so new and different, making the confusion. Okay, so I think that's another note that I want to say. Don't make this about, if you feel off at this full moon, which I think some of you might feel afraid, do not make this about your external circumstance with a person or money thing, especially if you've fixed it and rearranged it very recently. It's an internal issue. And the internal issue is that we have problems accepting that life can be easy in a way that it wasn't before, and that life is back on our side, and it feels foreign, and it feels strange, and it feels scary, and we feel like afraid of it. And I think we're afraid of settling into it in case we're going to lose it again, in case we're going to lose that feeling again. Okay, so I need to note that don't deal with the external manifestations, especially if they've been fixed. Focus on your internal emotional stuff and on not falling backwards, because I think that's going to be key. Okay, now I want to talk a minute about negative things manifesting. Again, I cannot say it enough. I think this is meant to be very positive, the things that are going on, but it's unrealistic, you know, for everyone to be getting something very good happening at this time, because there's, again, just so many people on the planet. We're all in different parts of our journey. So what I maybe need to note is that even though I think that this is meant to bring new and better situations with relationships and money and our own confidence and sense of self together, it is very possible that what could happen at this full moon in Sagittarius is that You could get the new part. You could get different situations, but not the better part. So another possibility is not some of you could be getting new and better situations manifest, and some of you could just be getting different situations that are new but that you don't feel is better, which can be some kind of issue with a relationship and money that's maybe ending or being taken from you here. That could also feel a little bit of a challenge as well. What do I want to say about that? I think I have a few thoughts. If you are one of the people who is not experiencing new and better things happening at this time, but feels like things are getting worse, or feels like things are definitely changing, but to be different, but not in a good way, I think one of the first things that I want to say is it really doesn't feel like this full moon itself, because again, full moons are about completing things, especially to this one, which to me feels kind of solar eclipse, like the last solar eclipse of like one of the last solar eclipses of like the Sagittarius eclipses that started in December 2020, right? And full moons are about really reaping the results of all your past efforts. So if you're not having anything good happen right now, or if what is happening is different but definitely not good, I have to say I do believe that it's because there was something over the course of the past you had 2 years since December of 2020, right? 2021, yeah, a year and a half. There was something over the course of then that was not done right. What was not done right over the course of the past two or so, a year or two? What was not done right? Well, for one, some of you may not have been cutting things out of your life already that are not meant to be there. Last year was about having hard conversations to get rid of people that are not for you, and things and jobs and situations. So that could have been what you didn't cut things out, and because you didn't cut things out that weren't meant for you, then now they're being ripped from you or taken from you, or now you're having to do something that last year was actually a better time for. What else could be the issue? The issue too could be the knowing yourself and your value systems and slowing down and being more stable and secure. So I think this is meant to be a beautiful full moon. If it's not and bad things are happening, it's because you didn't cut something out and now you're having to do it on the back end after it's kind of late to do it here, or because over the course of the past year, especially a few months, you weren't getting in touch with your needs and value systems and what was in a slower and more stable approach to life. And now God is stepping in to do it for you and to say, I know the situation better than you do. You think you know what your needs and values are. I know what it is. And to kind of course correct you here, to actually get you on a better course, to get you on a better track. Okay. Because I think that is what is going on here. If you're getting bad situations manifest here, or if things aren't going well for you, I think the other piece of advice that I want to give you is not only to go back to do those things, go back to cut things out of your life. Do it now. Okay, you're late. Fine. Do it now to cut things out of your life that aren't meant for you, jobs, relationships, money, situations, and to fix those and get in alignment with your values and with a slower, stable approach to life. That's one of the pieces of advice that I want to give you. Or if that's not it, the other piece of advice I want to give you is to trust that whatever is happening right now is in your highest good, because again, there's something about this full moon that is related to the divine and to God stepping in, the universe, spirit stepping in. So the advice, if you're getting bad situations, is to cut things out of your life that are meant for you and make more changes because you didn't make enough, and to get more in tune with your needs and values, or to trust that God, spirit, the divine here knows what is best for you from here on out. Okay. And to accept that and to see whatever is happening now as a blessing in disguise, if it's not here a good thing, in order to get you on a better path here eventually as we continue to move forwards. Okay. Okay. Anything else that I want to note? Any other points? I think that's all that's coming to me. Is there one more thing? Sorry, there's something that I'm kind of feeling. I'm kind of going back to the beginning, but another thing that I want to note now for the good people, like the people who are getting good experience. Good people is not the word, but the people who are getting good experiences. Another thing I want to note for you as well is that the way to maneuver these good experiences forward, if they're manifesting here, is not to push and control, but to follow your heart, whatever your intuition and your soul is telling you, and to follow, I think, your joy in a lot of ways. here and to go with the flow, because I think that that's going to do a lot better than you trying to overly logically analyze things and control situations here, especially again with like the Venus and the Neptune influence, which is a more feminine energy. So maybe that's the last point that I'll say. These new and better situations in life, if you're having them manifest, are supposed to be easy and they're supposed to be better. And because of that, it means that you don't need to control and be serious. You need to go with the flow, follow your heart, follow your intuition, and have fun with it. And that's where the answers are going to come from. The more you have fun, the more you go with the flow, that's where you're going to loosen up and where the clarity and where these things are going to start to work out even better. Okay, and I think that's all I want to say there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at your inside degrees. I've got them up on the screen. The inside degrees are not written by me. They're written by another person named Elias Lonsdale, but I do like to share these just to give you another perspective and another opinion here on the energy and on what's going on here. Okay, so let's do that. The full moon is at 23 degrees Sagittarius. I really do think that all of the inside degrees, I say they're written by Elias Lonsdale, another person. I like to think that really all of the inside degrees around the degree itself, like before and after, also apply. Okay, I'm going to start, I think, with 23 because that is the degree of the full moon in Sagittarius, but I think I might come back to 22. So let's read this. Sagittarius 23 says methodology, technique, the how of things, immersing yourself in the field of new ideas, fresh approaches, and innovative paths. So what does that mean to me? Again, new ideas, fresh approaches, innovative paths. It means to me that this full moon in Sagittarius is really meant to bring us, to catapult us, maybe catapult is a better word, forward into new ideas and different paths and different experiences of life than we've experienced before. Okay, it also says to exposing yourself to possibilities, visions, ways to evolve, the body's wisdom, musically in touch and in tune, sensing the resonance of cellular awakening. And it also has here methodology, technique, and the how of things. Okay, these are a few other lines that do make me believe that we know how to move things forward. We're in a new experience of life, new experiences, new approaches, new ideas, and we do know how to move them forward because look, it says the how of things here in this inside degree. It also says the body's wisdom, musically in touch and in tune. Okay. It says we're seeing possibilities, visions, ways to evolve. So this is another reason, in addition to Mars being an Aries and a sign it's love, that we really do know how to move these things forward. And if we don't know with our intellectual mind, our body knows, right? Our instinct knows. I think that's an Aries thing. In a Sagittarius, the fire thing, the fire signs, our instinct deep down really does know how to move forward. Okay. It says this, eager, enthusiastic, and bright, given over to the process, seizing upon opportunities, challenges, and openings. Feeling what it's like to be free, to be joyous, to be unrestricted. We've got a full-on motivating spark of knowing what it feels like to be tuned out and discovering what it really means to be tuned in all the way. So I love this degree. This is the exact degree of the full moon. I think that this is really what it's about. Yeah, new experiences, much better, exciting, motivating, rejuvenating, free, unrestricted, exciting here. And we do know, especially the wisdom of the body, how to maneuver these things forward. That's great. Okay, I'm then going to read the next degree, the one after the full moon too, because I think it's relevant. Sagittarius 24. It says the one who lives inside is awash in colors, tones, and symbolic ritual displays of an extraordinary precise attunement to the heart and soul of ancient wisdom. So what does that mean to me? Colors and tones is exciting. We're coming back to life again, seeing life in color and bright color. Here, I also like the phrase extraordinarily precise attunement to the heart and soul of ancient wisdom. So to me, both of these things continue to indicate that not only are we in a new and better experience of life, and I think we do know what to do here, but that it's bringing us back to life. It's exciting, it's motivating, and we're feeling more attuned to a higher power and also to our heart. Not only does it indicate to that, but it also indicates to me, these 2 degrees, that following the body's wisdom, the instinct, the gut, whatever it is, and our heart is the way to move forward, and not by logic, not by overthinking, not by pushing, and not by trying to control the situation. So more confirmations there. Okay, you are suspended in a long ago time. So much of your being is still back there. The evolution of the world since the ancient times is neither acknowledged nor accommodated in any way. It all depends on whether this exquisite soul gift of remembrance is honored or exploited. So what else does that mean? I think it means to me, like, still with the narrative, good, better things are happening. Our body knows, our heart knows what to do with it, and spirit knows, which is helping all of this stuff come together here, which is very great. But even though beautiful things are coming together, there is still a part of us with that square to Neptune that, like, is scared of these good things coming together, because the experience is so new and so different, and therefore is fearful of it and thinks something is wrong when it isn't. Here, it is having difficulty computing, acknowledging, and honoring and accommodating this better experience of life, even though it is coming, folks, whether we like it or not. Okay. Okay. And it's saying, I think that the way I'm going to interpret these next phrases is as if it had exploited, life empties of meaning, but if it is honored, the expanded faculties on tap become revitalized. So what that means to me is that if we can better understand our emotional sensitivities that are having difficulty accepting this new, better, easier way of life, then I think we're going to be able to have more wisdom and move forward in this better experience, or find a healthier way to move forward and feel at peace in this better experience. But if we don't understand, right, our subconscious habits and patterns, then we're going to have difficulty finding meaning and where we are now. Okay. And then, of course, the last line here says, as the divine feminine reveals what we need to know and draws us to our utmost capacity, is with an unfallen grace of sensing directly into the deepest parts of people and all they can become in the ancient future just ahead. So I think another thought here is that really the way of life, I think we've really been going into for quite some time in this new chapter in life, I do think is meant to be better, even though we've got a lot of self-sabotaging tendencies that we need to watch out for, and is meant to be one that's more in tune with the body's wisdom and more in tune with our heart and soul and spirit here, and acknowledging that. And I should note, I do believe that that is like more of a feminine way of behaving. And I do think there's a lot of things in the chart that are supportive of a more feminine way of moving forward, which is intuitive, which is in touch with the body, which is slower, which is more sensual, which is more stable and secure. I think the reasons why I would think that is because Neptune is in Pisces, the water signs to me are feminine, the opposite point of Pluto, which is important to me and to evolutionary astrology I do by Jeffrey Wolf Green, is the opposite point of Pluto is in Cancer, which is very feminine. So I think we are moving more into a feminine, the divine, like a feminine time of life. Okay. Which I do believe will last for, I think, at least another 35 years until this Saturn Pluto come conjunct again in another sign. Okay. So I want to note that, and in case some of you are curious, or like to use that language, I don't always like to talk about the feminine masculine, even though I will on occasion, because it's just not my area of expertise here. And there's a lot of nuances there. And sometimes gender is funny when it comes to signs and astrology. But in case some of you are curious, I do believe that what's needed and what's trying to evolve as a result of this full moon is a more surrendered feminine way of life, not pushing, not striving, not controlling, not structuring, not forcing, trusting the moment, the body, the present, the spirit here to kind of help us figure things out with a lot more ease. Okay, now I'm going to go back to 22 degrees Sagittarius really quickly and hit that on the back end. The reason why I wanted to look at this one last, which is the degree before the full moon, is because it's a little bit of a darker one, a little bit more of a challenged one. So I wanted to look at that. It says, darkness seeks release by the right vessel at the right time in the right place. You must be able to contain the darkness and to form it into an exquisitely sculpted out, seething chaos, and then discover your willingness and ability to reverse field, to give over to the very thing you took as your own. This comes the hard way by enduring the ravages of living in the volatile chaos, almost as victim, then seizing command, etc., etc. So what does that mean to me? It means to me that for those of you who are on experiencing negative events at this time, here, this is your inside degree. This is your inside degree here. And that means to me that for those of you who are experiencing negative events at this time, it's really all about things that are no longer meant for you falling away. So if bad things are happening, it's a call to release the bad things, to release the darkness, to let it go, to stop trying to save it, to stop trying to force it, to release things that aren't working, and to go where ease is. Go where ease is, right? Because that's really what this time, what we're moving into. We're moving at a time of ease and lightheartedness. And if you're forcing something to work that isn't working, it's not easy. It's not, right? So I think for those of you who are getting bad things happening at this full moon here, it is basically to kind of flush out. The reason for that is to flush out all of these things that are not meant for you here, even if it feels chaotic. And so that you can move forward. And to stop indulging in these old things, that aren't meant for you here. I think that's also a thing. Usually triggering so much, to stop indulging in these old things and to let things go that are leaving and to move forward. And maybe that's another message for everybody, but especially for people struggling here, like, what is meant for you is supposed to be easy at this time. Maybe it's different other times in the astrology, but at this time, if something's meant for you, it's going to come easy. It's going to come naturally. So if some of you are in a situation right now and it just doesn't seem to be working out or coming together despite your best efforts to like fix it or adjust it, then it's probably a call to let it go. So that you can make room for something better and to stop holding on, because the more that you hold on to this thing that's not meant for you and try to make it work, not only is it going to keep you stuck in these old habits of stress and fight or flight and tenseness, but it's also going to prevent something better coming to you, which can come now and in the future if you just give it the space to arrive so that you're not crowding everything out. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, and I think that's all I'll say. There's obviously other things you can read into these inside degrees, but I think that's all I'm going to say there. Now I'm going to look at your cards. They did come out while I was shuffling, but earlier in this video, but I've got them here on the table, and actually 3 of them came out. We've got the Devil upright, we've got the 2 of Swords reversed, and we've got the 6 of Cups reversed. Okay, what does this indicate to me? This actually indicates to me that at this new moon in Sagittarius, full moon in Sagittarius, quite a few of you actually don't feel like you're in these new experiences that I've spoken of, and like you're still stuck in old ones here that haven't been figured out, that haven't been fixed and rearranged. If I had to be honest with you, that's not this new moon in Sagittarius, the full moon, sorry, I keep messing up. That's not this full moon in Sagittarius, that's the new moon in Gemini. So if you're still stuck in situations, watch my video from the new moon in Gemini, because there is something there that still hasn't been done. And once that's been done, then you're going to feel this breath of fresh air, new start, different things coming more into being. Okay, another thought that I want to give you too, or watch a bunch of videos on my website where I talk, past 2 weeks, I've talked a lot about how to fix these things and realign your life. But another thought too is that if some of you are still feeling stuck in old situations, not only was there something, you didn't fix these situations, right? In order for you to get to new situations, you have to fix old ones that you don't like in order to move forward. So if you're not feeling new things manifest that are different here, then it's because something wasn't fixed, okay, that you didn't do, that still needs to be done. Another reason why, and this was actually came up like in a video on my website here for the moon in Scorpio, which was before this full moon in Sag, is that a big reason why a lot of you still may not be feeling new and better experience manifest is because you haven't made firm decisions. You've been waffling, you've been hesitating here, and you haven't been making firm decisions. And do I want to say growing a spine and getting the courage to do what needs to be done regardless of the outcome, with faith that whatever's going to work out is in your highest good. Because again, the 2 of Swords is about decisions, and it's reversed, indicating issues there. And once you grow the backbone and make the firm decision to do what needs to be done here to fix these things in your life, then the new moon the full moon energy of Sagittarius is going to kick in, and you're going to start to feel different and better circumstances manifest here as you move forward. Okay, so I think I want to say that. Another thing that I want to note as well, that these decisions that you need to make here at this time, that some of you have been hesitating to make, is not a decision to revert backwards. It's a decision to fix something with relationships and money that isn't right, and to have the hard conversations in order to do it so that you can move forward, and to be very decisive about what that is. So sorry, huge message here. A lot of you aren't feeling this full moon Sagittarius new exciting energy, and it's because you're still stuck in something from the past you haven't fixed. And the reason why for a lot of you it hasn't been fixed is because you're not making decisions that you need to make. You're waffling back and forth. You're doing half in, half out, and you're letting these things drag on here. That's not helping. You need to be decisive. You need to commit, not to not fixing these things, but to fixing things that are not right, and to grow the backbone and the spine and the courage in order to have these conversations with people. And that's going to get you to this new and better experience. Okay, why? Maybe I need to say one more thing. Why is that going to get you to this new and better experience? Well, by you making the decisions that you need to fix things with people and being decisive here, it's either actually going to fix things with people in a way that you feel good about, which is going to be wonderful. Things are going to be fixed with relationships and money for you, or you're going to make a decision to fix something with somebody and it's not going to work out for you. You know, you're going to make a decision and it's not going to come together in the way that you might have liked, or you'll have to make a decision maybe you don't want to make. But even that decision for some of you can give you that excitement and can give you that new experience, because you're no longer weighted down by that old thing that was keeping you stuck before. Okay. So I want to note there's something about the decisiveness that I think is going to be key here. And maybe I need to more fully specify the different ways this could go, because I gave you I just gave you two specifics, but there could be more. So what could happen at this full moon in Sagittarius is that some of you have recently fixed things in your life over the course of the past few weeks and made these hard decisions, especially since the new moon in Gemini, to do it. And these decisions worked out in your favor, and now things are beautifully coming together. Or some of you are finally making decisions here, need to make decisions, and have fixed things in your life, but they aren't coming together in the way you like. You had to make a decision you really didn't want to make for your highest good that you felt spirit was saying, and it's sucky and crappy, but you're feeling good anyways because you know that you're in alignment with spirit and you know that's what needs to happen. And then there's another group of you who either isn't making decisions or is hesitating to make decisions or had other people make decisions for you, and you feel like you're just getting run over by life. And if that's you, this third group, that's because you need to accept a higher way of looking at things that's more divine. And maybe that's what your choice is. Maybe some of you not only need to make choices to continue making decisions to fix things, but once some of you have fixed what needs fixing and there's nothing more that can be done, maybe some of you need to make choices at this full moon in Sagittarius to see the bright side, to look on the better side of things here, and to get more in touch with the divine perspective. Because when you get more in touch with the divine perspective, even a bad thing is a good thing. Even a bad thing is a good thing because you get the understanding of it all and where things are going to go next. Okay. Here as you move forward. Okay, what else? Another thought too, sorry, I like to look at the bottom of the deck, is the Nine of Cups reversed. This is a little bit of a different piece of advice than what I feel like these three cards were giving. The Nine of Cups to me reversed is about those now who are having really good experiences occur in their lives. And it's some of you who actually are on the good side of this energy and having really good things occur. Some of you, oh man, are having great things occur and are getting exactly what you hoped would happen. Because to me, this card can be a little bit of like wish fulfillment and like dreams coming true. So some of you at this, and really, I think this is supposed to be more of you having good things happen, are having good things happen and dreams coming true here, which is why I haven't spent as much time on like these alternate examples. But some of you are having great things happen this time period, are having dreams come true, but you're not acknowledging it as the dream come true that it is, because you're afraid that you're going to lose it or that you're not going to know how to handle it, or that something is going to go wrong, and you're in disbelief now that you're here. And so I think that another part of the message is, for some of you, you are having good experiences manifest, to realize that they are good and that you can do it here, and to give yourself permission to celebrate and to enjoy the things that are now here and that are occurring. Okay. And that's, I think, all I have to say here. I hope that was helpful for you. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. June 13th is my birthday. I'm 34. It's the day before this full moon, which is tomorrow, this is the day I'm filming it. So I hope it's a good year for me. I hope this all is a good one for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube, share with your friends. Here, check out my website, wondergirlastrology.com, and I will talk to you on the next one.